On to the hurricane. That night, that Saturday night, the sky was lit up with lightning storm, thunder, lightning for hours that night. And I was really mad because my husband, he's on salary, and the workers couldn't handle the things that were breaking down. He was out there for hours trying to fix something, and because it was so late and all that rain was coming down, he wasn't even able to do it. All weekend, and still now, the lightning storm broke out some of the fire alarm boxes, and him and the other guy on property have to make rounds every night, every hour. They take turns every hour, making sure that the place doesn't burn down because the fire alarms are off. It's just been incredible. So that horrible lightning storm that lasted for hours. The next morning, you saw the picture of the lake, and then I updated with the pictures of the front. That rain was just pouring down. It was, I mean, we didn't get another lightning storm like that, but that rain, it was just, they said it would stay in Houston for 3 days, and they were not kidding. That thing did not move. And the downpour of that rain, they were saying it was going to be a category 1, category 2, then said category 3. And I'm like, we went to like 3 different stores to try to get prepared for this. And we were even told that if your light turns off, you're either going to turn off your water or fill up your tub with water. Because so you could go to the bathroom, you take a bucket and you put it in the toilet tank so you can flush. I mean, I was like on edge, man. And that downpour of rain was nuts. It would stop and then it would downpour, stop and downpour. I was so severely stressed out, thinking we were going to lose my car. Everybody was moving their cars onto the grass because we were. I thought that, okay, we're going to be a hurricane for 3 days. I'm not going to even go nowhere. I could take care of stuff in the house. No, I was completely on edge. I was severely stressed out. I was just watching the news constantly, posting on Facebook constantly, letting my family know that we were okay, giving them updates. I could not relax except at night. I would start crocheting to try to relax, and I was up till 1 in the morning before I could finally go to sleep. The good thing was I finished my blanket that I've been working on for almost 2 years. But I didn't do nothing except we tried to just keep up with the kitchen in case we lost water, and the bathroom. Just tried to keep up with some stuff because we were afraid we would lose water, and got it just on top of making sure we're cooking our food in the fridge in case we lose. We didn't want to lose our food because this is not North Carolina. It's not ice. It's just hot out there. Although the temperature dropped 20 degrees, which was wonderful for us because in August, it's usually in the 90s, maybe even 100, and it was down into the 70s, which I loved. I didn't even need to keep my air conditioner on. I had to keep the screen door on because all that water brings out the bugs. And we had a ginormous spider. But what my husband did was, there was an incline, and that's where he parked his car because the people who lived there moved out, so the apartment was empty. So we had our car in an incline like this, and so the water, thank God, never even, only the wheels it would touch, but everybody was putting their car in the I think I showed you one of the videos, on the grass, because what I learned from being on the internet, watching everything, was that the dirt will absorb the water. And it shouldn't flood, and it's true. The flooding never passed, the curb part of the parking lot. I haven't even checked my garage yet, but I was starting to go a little stir crazy because, since my husband was working all day Saturday, we had rain, but the hurricane still had not touched land. So I was calling around to see if, I'm already anxious also because of the Wet n Wild Halloween collection. They're hitting stores, and it finally hit some stores here in the Houston area, actually in Texas City. And so now I'm calling my Walgreens. I'm figuring, you know what, me and my husband are going to go take a drive. I know we can't go to the water, but, we could maybe drive just away from here and just, we could maybe get some coffee, maybe see a movie. I could get my Wet n Wild. Halloween. So one store out in off the 45, Dickinson exit. They said they put it up, but she said she refuses to put anything aside for me. I was like, that's okay. I'll just call in the morning to make sure, in case I get misinformed, and I'll just come in the morning with my husband and just get away from here. But that's when it finally hit land, and I could not believe the devastation. Dickinson, where I wanted to go to, was completely inundated. They were underwater. I could not believe the pictures I was watching. It is heartbreaking. I mean, there was this one guy, he was crying. I felt so bad for him. After Harvey left, he said, my mom always told me, as long as you work hard, you can have anything you want. And they, worked hard all their lives to buy a home, and, get everything they wanted. And it was all gone and overnight. I could not believe it. For us, the waters, that Sunday morning, the waters had receded where I was at. So I thought it was safe to go out. But when I saw those pictures, because I went to call the Walgreens, and due to unforeseen circumstances, I'm like, OMG, horrible, horrible, horrible what these people lost. And who knows if they lost stock too at the Walgreens. I don't know. So I'm every time there's a new collection, I'm already anxious about that. So I was already feeling a little stir crazy, because now that we have this flooding, I can't go anywhere. And it wasn't just about getting the collection, but like when I was in North Carolina, we couldn't go anywhere for about a week or two. I was starting to go stir crazy. That's how I was feeling. I'm so anxious about my car. No pharmacies open to get your medicines. I mean, this was like really something crazy. My son, and I didn't expect this because my son's meds weren't even due for another 2 weeks. He gets a call saying, come get it now because they're closing. And I was at a doctor's appointment, And that's the other thing that had me all stressed out, is because they keep saying that I never heard from that lady, and then at the last minute she says, oh, tomorrow you have to go to the hospital for your pre-op. I'm like, what? And I said, I haven't heard from you in 3 weeks, and I already made an appointment for pain injections for my hips. I need these injections, but I could barely walk. And I said, you didn't call me for 3 weeks. And I said another thing. I said, I need to know about the process of removing the stents. I do not want to have these stents in me for another month and a half. So I need to know exactly when I'm getting the stents out, exactly what my cost is going to be. And I said, do I have to pay up front? Yes. Well, then I need to know how much money this is going to cost me. I said, I don't hear from you in 3 weeks. You just tell me, go to my pre-op. No, because everything was left tentative. You said, let me talk to the doctor. Let me get back to you. No, I said, you need to reschedule that. Because they're saying that Harvey was supposed to go away by Tuesday. This was Friday. Thursday, I mean. This was Thursday. The doctor, the MA is calling me, the medical assistant. And I'm like, sorry, I'm in an appointment tomorrow. So Tuesday I was going to, and I said Tuesday I'll do the pre-op. Then Wednesday they scheduled me to go to another office out in Houston to get the injections, and so I thought, everything was going to be taken care of. And then Friday I was supposed to have the procedure, because I don't call that a surgery, just because they're trying to remove your stones. But anyway, so I said, look, I need more information. I can't go tomorrow. This has to be rescheduled. You need to get back to me for 3 weeks. So I go to the, first of all, I called the doctor, because it was ready to start. Like I said, we were already getting some rain, and the doctor was in. I said, okay. So I go to my doctor's appointment, and then I come home around maybe 12ish, and my son says, oh, Mom, they closed already, but they wanted you to come get the meds today. I'm like, the meds weren't even due for another, I usually pick them up like the first, second week of the month, not so this is too soon. I was like, I can't, so I'm like, no way. Anyway, it was 12 o'clock. They were already closed. And I get a call from the hospital. You were supposed to be here at 9 o'clock. I was like, really? Oh, really? Because I was not informed of what time I was supposed to be there. I said, I already told the MA I can't do it. Oh, she didn't tell us. I said, oh, and by the way, I said, I'm supposed to get a catheter. He said the only way to know for sure If I have an infection, is if I get a catheter, because he doesn't want to do the procedure without knowing you have an infection. I said, they never ordered you a catheter. I was like, you know what, just forget it. Just forget it. Just forget it. I said, I mean, God forbid, but I would rather have kidney failure than deal with having a stint in me for another month and a half, or deal with this. I got on the phone to look for, I went on Blue Cross Blue Shield to find another doctor. I called that Friday. I don't want to go to Houston, and I've already tried Pearland, and all the Pearland doctors work in Clear Lake too, so I'm going into Pasadena, which is another town away, maybe 2 towns away. And they said it was the answering service. I needed to wait till Monday, blah, 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 because the rain and everything. So, I was dealing with that. And so all of that went out the window. There's not going to be, no, I couldn't, no, nothing. Right. So come Monday morning, it floods again, even higher. So the rain went down, and then more rain is coming, and more rain is coming. So it goes up, and then it goes down. It goes up, and so in between the breaks, it was just downpour. We had downpours in the middle of the night, downpours late at night, downpours early in the morning, and it would flood up. And then with tiny bit of sun that comes out, and when the rain stops, it would go down. That's what was happening where I lived. And I'm just really stressed out. We're going to lose our car. We're going to lose our car. We're going to lose our car. I'm on the news finding out what's going on, and just looking at the devastation. I could not believe that the highways in Houston look like a ginormous sea. It was incredible. It was just the most horrible. This was one of the most harrowing experiences I ever went through. I could not relax. I could have finished putting away my stuff. I could have been working on some projects I wanted to do. I was just, it was just harrowing. I could not relax. I just keep clicking on the news, finding out where Harvey is, finding out what's going on. The flooding is like just something horrible, incredible. And the people had to be saved by those they call it an air boat, because like Louisiana, they got like a big fan or something that pushes it in the back, and people are being saved. I can't even believe one guy tied his dog to a tree and left. What the frig is wrong with that guy? Some other guys found it and then took it to the Humane Society, and they're looking for the owners. Why in the frig would you even look for the owners after what they did? And it was the traffic. You should have seen the traffic going down up towards Dallas, because that's where they were sending everybody in evacuation. They were talking about that the reservoirs, the dams were becoming overflowing, and they would have to release some water so the dam won't break completely. It was just the most craziest thing I ever seen, at least I've experienced in my life. And I'm just petrified. What are we going to do? They didn't tell us that we're going to evacuate. I don't know what I'm supposed to take. I don't even know if all of my suitcases in the garage. And you can't bring your pets? No, that's not happening. My babies are going to be with me. They are my babies. I'm not leaving my babies behind. Oh, you have to bring them to the shelter. They tag your dog, and then the tag tells them, that you're coming back for them, that it's, that they won't accidentally, adopt them out. I'm like, no, what if the tag falls off? No. Buddy is my love bug. He is the love of my life. I love Juju too, but he's so affectionate and he's so loving. He always wants to be with me in my lap. No. This dog wants to be attached to me. Literally, if he could attach himself to me, he would. I'm not going to leave him in no shelter. This is just, oh my goodness, the stress of it all. And they started evacuating more and more places. The water even broke some of the bridges, and just evacuating, and people going to Dallas. The Dallas shelters were full. They started opening up a shelter downtown. I guess, I don't know how they got there because the highways were flooded, but they only had capacity for 5,000, and to the end of Harvey, at least 8,000 people were there. The Humane Society was rescuing all these animals. Cages of cats and dogs that people left behind, or was, I don't know, maybe they were just homeless animals. I don't know. But in my lifetime, in places that I have lived in, I've never seen that type of devastation. It reminded me somewhat of Katrina, what happened in Louisiana. And unfortunately, that's where this thing headed to next, was Louisiana. And I'm just checking every day. I put in, where is Harvey now? And the radar showing that that thing has not budged. It's just right there hovering over Houston. So I just kept my family updated. I was keeping everyone updated of how we were. Petrified that we're going to lose electricity. I knew that if we had electricity, we would be good because we had a pretty well-stocked fridge. And we had, I mean, it was mostly corn and green beans, but you know, we had some soup, raviolis, tuna, you know. But I mean, everything was going. I was getting nervous about the toilet paper. I mean, while we had electricity, I just said we could just wash our heinies in the shower if we needed to. But, you know, I counted myself blessed. We never lost electricity. So we were able to use up the food in the fridge. But by yesterday, let me tell you, a lot of that dwindled down. We only had to go into like maybe 2 cans. That's it. We didn't even need to touch the other cans that we had. Well, no, the ravioli's gone, but 2 cans of green beans. That's all we needed to open up. Because my son, when he goes to the food pantry at school, they always give us cans of corn and cans of green beans. And the green beans I usually use up, but not so much the corn. But hey, it was there for this emergency. You know, I counted myself blessed, but what other people went through, and they weren't going to evacuate unless it was necessary because the shelters were full. People were going to San Antonio, to Dallas, to Austin. You know, people were just driving away. The traffic going out of this area was bumper to bumper. And I didn't even know how they could evacuate any more people because the highways were flooded. I never saw anything like that. People lost everything. Some people were lucky and said they just lost their carpets, you know, that they had picked up everything off the floor. And so I guess the bottom of their furniture, but, you know, that carpet was soaked. And I tell you, I cried when some of these people did just crying there. And it's true, you work your whole life for the American dream is to have your own house, you know, and gone, everything gone. It was just horrible, and I count myself blessed, but my heart was broken for those people. So I started getting nervous, and yesterday morning, they started opening up some of the stores. H-E-B, I kind of was upset that they were open on the Saturday that the storm was supposed to hit, but it was because, and I had called Walgreens to find out again about the collection, and they said all we're stocking right now is supplies for the people. So then I realized that's why they're open. It's because before everything, it really hits the fan, people could still get supplies. And H-E-B, that's Admiral, they also sent out these disaster relief trucks to the areas that were hit the hardest. So that is so admirable. And then yesterday H-E-B was open, but there was a line like around, whipped around. They were only letting in 50 people at a time. Walmart was still closed. CVS was open. Walgreens was closed. Kroger had open. Again, a line whipped around. So the only place that my husband felt that he could confidently get into was Sprouts, which is it's like Whole Foods but cheaper, but it's still more expensive. And it was a lot of money for a little bit of food, but at least it was something that would carry us over. So that was I think that was the day before yesterday. Yeah, and they were only open for a few hours. And then yesterday I went to see if there was any more stores open. Finally, Walmart opened their doors. There was lines whipped around, but by the time I went, because everything was closing at 4, I went at 3. They had just opened up everything, and the stores were bare. When my husband went to Sprouts, all he got was some bread, which is what I really wanted because we ran out of bread. I wanted to make peanut butter and jelly sandwiches until the stores were stocked. But that was really about it. All he could really get, maybe some cold cuts as meats. I ran out of my veggie patties. So I went yesterday and I got a package of veggie patties, and I mean, I had dishwasher liquid. We had to be on top of those dishes in case we lost power. and we have ran out. So I bought a small pack of the dishwasher tablets because if I could help it with my back and my hips, and my daughter, she's got her arthritis and I did not want to be standing over that sink washing dishes. So you know, thank God, you know, we found that, but like no eggs. I mean, I was like, I deserve flan. I'm gonna make a flan. I couldn't even get eggs. No eggs. No milk. I know CVS was open, the pharmacy, even though places were closing early. So yesterday Walmart was open, and then finally today's a lot of the Walgreens opened up. So I might take a ride out, you know, because one guy said he'd hold, I really wanted the gray and black cat suit. One guy said he'd hold it for me, but it's not that far. But like by my son's school, that was flooded out. The doctor's office that I needed to go to, that was flooded out. The Dickinson, which is where me and my husband just going to take a drive out there, that was flooded out. I don't know what that looks like right now. I don't know. I know the water's finally receding yesterday. I know some of the people here lost their cars when the water started rising up and up. I guess they didn't put them on the grass. So many people went on the grass and they were blocking other people because work started yesterday. I'm like, are you crazy? All those highways are flooded. My brother had to go to work, and after my husband was working day and night, he had to go back to work. But you know, only the people who lived here were able to work because, you know, nobody could get through it here. I know my husband went to go get get his supervisor because she forgot her dog's medicine. He couldn't get her. She had to like walk to him. He only was able to get halfway to her. It just the roads are flooded. And yesterday I saw roads were blocked off because they were flooded, going down towards Manville. Oh man, it was just crazy. You know, I was blessed because of my sister-in-law, you know, my brother's fiance's mom. She lives in Manville. It's about maybe 5-10 minute drive, and said, I'm well stocked if you need anything. But the road to her was blocked anyway. But I'm just glad it didn't come to that, you know. So I don't know what's gonna happen. Like I said, only half the Walgreens are open. I don't know what's gonna happen as far as the collection. That has me stressed out. But even, you know, more important, because like when my husband started things flooded, I said I wouldn't take the car out. No collection is worth losing something that you have to use every single day, like your car, to take my son to school. And you know, the collection is nothing. Me trying to find the collection is nothing compared to what these people must be going through. What it's just unimaginable, just losing everything like that. I could not imagine working my whole life to get the American dream, to get my own home, you know, maybe have a pool, maybe have 2 cars, you know, and everything's gone overnight. I could not imagine. I only pray that these guys had insurance and that, you know, they're going to get everything fixed or new or whatever. And, you know, so we are not out of the woods because of you know, I guess the people started going back to their homes and found that it was gone. Everything, some of literally the homes were like washed away from the hurricane. It's like half a house is left. One of my friends, she was evacuated. I'm sure she's probably back now. I just can't imagine. I just can't imagine. I know the waters are receding. And unbelievably, Harvey went back to the ocean. I'm like, oh crap, is it picking up strength? I said it's either picking up strength or picking up water, and that's exactly what it did. It was like, it was like really, like I had a mind of itself. Oh, I'm done with Texas. Let me go back to the ocean, pick up some more water, and then it pummeled Louisiana. And now Louisiana's going through what we just went through, and it's heading its way up. But you know, because of all the outer parts of this was a massive hurricane. If you look at the pictures from outer space, it was still pummeling all the coast, pummeling Louisiana. What was it? Alabama. Was it Georgia, I think, and Florida, and now it's heading its way up towards Tennessee now from Louisiana, but not before it left all that destruction in its wake. And now it's downgraded because it was a category 3, and then it downgraded to a category 1, and then it downgraded to a tropical storm. And that tropical storm kicked our butt. I could never imagine. I never imagined that would happen. And then it was still a tropical storm when it hit Louisiana, and now it's been downgraded to a tropical depression heading towards Tennessee. It's like, what the heck? It's like this thing has a mind of its own. It's like, OMG. Never, never, never. And they kept saying that there were tornado watches too. I'm like, it was one of the craziest things I've ever seen in my life. I mean, I've had so many hurricane scares. Oh, it died down before it reached land. Or I was 3 hours away from the ocean, so all we got was a little bit of flooding where a creek reached all the way to the top of the, the dirt and grass, but never came into our home. That was like the worst that I ever saw. And when I was in Hawaii, I know I missed the hurricanes. A hurricane happened before I got there, and all the trees were down. They were still cleaning up when I got there. And then right after I left, another hurricane hit. So how many hurricane scares have I had? And I stockpiled canned foods that we never even really used, or if we tried to use them, it was like, you're really not enjoying. I didn't take the ice storm in North Carolina seriously, so I was like, I better take this seriously. So I think, my friends were giving me advice to stockpile some stuff so that I could really be prepared next time and have an emergency escape kit. I just, my biggest concern though for us evacuation was the dogs. I'm not leaving them behind. No, ain't gonna happen. And I lived on the second floor, so I would have been safe probably if there was flooding. But a lot of people, they told them evacuate, 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 because once the storm hit, we cannot go in there to rescue you. There's no way for us to rescue you. And people didn't listen, and people died. So I don't know. That was my biggest fear is my babies. I'm not leaving my babies behind. My babies are coming with me. So there were some shelters that, and we were trying to find shelters that took dogs, and I was having a hard time, but I wanted to be ready. That's all I did the whole time, was on the computer, finding out where it was, finding out about shelters, finding out who took dogs, finding out policies. And I found out that some Red Cross shelters allowed you to bring your pet if you caged them. Cool. I don't know if my garage was flooded, but I was going to get those cages out. I was not leaving my babies behind. I was trying to find out, what do you bring with you? I don't know, the information was more about medications than anything else. Do you bring food with you? All I know is that I was told horror stories about the last time. I think it was when Katrina hit, people evacuated. They started price gouging, which is illegal, and people couldn't even afford gas or food. And they're saying they evacuated twice. Some people were telling me they evacuated twice, and it just wasn't worth it. And the food they were given was like military rations, and it was the most disgusting thing you ever tasted. But they price gouged the food, and they couldn't get food elsewhere. It was just like a nightmare. And they said they're not doing it again. But some people did. They left. I had family in Dallas, but they moved, so I would have went to be with my family. But it's my babies, though. That was my priority. Is my babies. I could lose all the wet and wild in this house, but I was not losing my babies. There's no way I was leaving my babies behind. So thank God it didn't come to any of that, but I pray to God that we never go through that again. And it's crazy. I mean, we're an hour away from the ocean. We're an hour away from the bay, an hour away from the oceans, our ocean, the Gulf of Mexico. So I just didn't believe it would do that much damage. Horrible, horrible. So just keep those people in your prayers. Okay, I love you all. And I will see you next week. Bye.